Alright, so in this video I wanted to go over this cute little muscle system I've been developing on and off recently. Before I get into that, a quick note about this model. This model was provided to me as a test for an interview like quite some time ago, and I was not nearly as good as I am now when I did the test. So I've kind of used this model as a testing ground for a lot of my methods and everything. That being said, let me go ahead and switch over to this scene right here. There we go. Alright, as you can see, this is just a very basic IK setup. There's a parent node right here. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special. And let me switch monitors over here. This is the tool itself so far, but it's still a work in progress, but I am just going to evaluate just what I need for this demonstration. Alright, there we go. So it's nothing pretty right now, but what's currently in development is the, I'm making some nice UI controls. I'm just going to make it look a lot prettier, a lot more user-friendly, but at its core, it creates a series of points and this one bone right here. This is the parent node for everything, and this orange node, which the bone is connected to, is where most of the functionality comes from this whole system. That's the heart of the system itself, is that transform script. And on the bone, another transform script. That's my little look at constraint there. And this green node is where you get all of your control. You see if you move it out, it kind of has this scalar effect. That's how you position where you want that muscle to be. And you can see as you move this IK solver right here, in and out, you can see it has this kind of a bicep effect. Very much like a bicep would move. Just collapsing in and out as the arm bends. And you can see there's going to be a lot of cool uses and functionality for this as it gets further in development. If you want to have a tricep effect, go ahead and take this guy, drag it back here. You'll see the look at constraint do its thing. Boop. Alright, and now we have a tricep effect, collapsing in and out in the reverse direction. Let's go ahead and put that back. If you want to have the exact opposite, though, you can take this red node here, rotate it around. Now you have sort of an opposite bicep. You can actually take this red node and move it anywhere you want. Oops, there we go. And it will still function properly. And that's pretty much the core functionality for this whole thing. It's not very complex, but you can see it's very flexible and it has a lot of cool ins and outs. Let's go ahead and switch scenes back again to that model. And here, if you inspect this closely, you can see that I have the muscle system engaged here in the bicep and here in the tricep. And as you rotate the arm, let's make sure we're in gimbal space, you can see the bicep inflating and deflating as the arm rotates. Not too much of an effect, but it's just subtle enough so that it looks a lot more organic. It's not rigid or anything like that. And if we rotate to the back, you can see the tricep muscle doing the exact same thing, inflating and deflating. It's actually quite nice. And this has I use this for more than just that. If you look, I have one sitting right here. And when you have big, exaggerated muscles like this, a common problem you get is, mesh collapsing in on itself. All I did was just skin just a couple of these verts to that bone right there and had it, let me show you what it does. The skin kind of just folds in, kind of gives the illusion that the skin is folding in over the bicep. We go ahead and let's just quickly add a turbo smooth to this guy. There we go. You can kind of see that effect a little bit better. And it's not too dramatic, but as it closes in on itself, you get this nice folded skin illusion right there. And if you look closely, it actually does fold in nicely over the bicep. But you can't actually see that, so it doesn't affect it too much. Let's go ahead and snap that back into place. And another thing I want to go over is this little system right here. Since skinning is linear, one big problem a lot of people have in rigs, delete that turbo smooth, one big problem a lot of people have in rigs comes when they do shoulders. And since skinning is linear, you'll get shoulders collapsing in on themselves when the arm rotates up and down. What this is, at its core, you've got these two control points. This one is bound to the upper arm, this one is bound to the clavicle, right here. And in the middle here, these two red points, both using a transform script, like that. And the bones, using my little look at. And you'll see as the arm rotates upward, watch the shape of the shoulder. It maintains its form. It maintains that bulk. It doesn't collapse in on itself. You can kind of see how everything is moving on top of these points right here. And that's really the whole point in doing this portion of it. You can see it go back and forth, maintaining its form, maintaining its bulk, not collapsing in on itself. Let's go ahead and turn the wireframe on. Kind of hard to see, but you can see how the faces are also maintaining orientation as well, looking forward towards the end of the arm, not rotating into the shoulder. And that prevents a lot of texture warping and whatnot. Let's go ahead and bring you back. If I hide the geometry real quick, let me grab this guy, unlock his transforms real fast. And you can see what's happening there. Very easy. All transform scripts, not too complex. If you learn the math behind it, you can make these transform scripts do anything with half the back-end calculations. And the look-ats are both pointing to the parent of the entire muscle system, so they're all kind of working together there. Let's undo you. Make sure everything's reset, and turn that back on. Real quickly, I'm also using these transform scripts on the twist bones, and I'll show you just one quick benefit of using transform scripts over look at and orientation constraints. Watch the red bones, the twist bones here. You'll notice there's no flipping as they rotate. You can rotate these things as much as you want, and they will never flip, they will never pop, anything like that. And even weirder, I don't really know what kind of benefit this itself would have, but it looks cool. The verts themselves will actually twist up as the entire thing rotates, and the entire thing will twist in on itself, which is actually really cool looking, but like I said, I don't really see the benefit or application of that. It's just very, very, very stable. You don't get a lot of popping and flipping and unpredictability in that. And one last thing I want to cover. If you'll notice, my selection filter's always been on all, but I've been resetting everything just by double-clicking on one helper, one controller, and it selects everything behind that. And that's because I set up my hierarchy in a very unorthodox way. Let me go ahead and just give an example. This bone right here is actually independent in the hierarchy. And all it's using is a transform script that just says, do whatever this does. Take the transform matrix of this guy and make it your own. And by doing that, I'm able to isolate certain parts of the hierarchy of the entire structure and kind of work on one thing at a time. And it also enables me to, let's say I'm moving, deforming this guy all over the place. Let's put his arm up here. Rotate the clavicle up a bit, arm forward, just everything. Full animation on the character. Just put those in, hang loose. Now let's say you don't like one portion of that. I can just go ahead and double click on whatever controller I want, transform to 0, and we'll go ahead and reset just that portion. Let's do the same thing for the clavicle. Let's say I don't like the arm at all, but I like the position of the spine. Boom, just resets the arm, keeps the spine there, and it works the same for the spine. Boom, keeps the arm, same way. Not bad, huh? I think that should about wrap up everything I wanted to talk about. I hope you found this at least somewhat informative. As always, I'm Dan Parsons. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for watching, and cheers.